Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest iteration of the web series, The Burning Ones. If you're new to this series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 2. Before the beginning, two planets orbited one star. Long, long ago, both of these worlds sustained life. That was before that great star began to burn dark and cold, violently lashing out at all life within its reach. This is, at least, how the story goes. Eons later, I was born upon the planet which remains, the world which survived against odds. I ran in the endless forests, bathing in the beautiful calm. I survived the untamable storms. Where others failed in the great battle, I would succeed. From what Allison had told me, and what I had read about her home, I believe it to be similar to my own. Beautiful, but merciless, volatile, but spectacular. A world which produces hard beings. The kind of individual which one would desperately want at one's side when, as Allison says, it hits the fan. Allison's guardian angel is not from Terra, the Sol System, or even the Milky Way. I've only convinced him to speak a handful of times, only when we're alone, and Allison is deep in her REM cycle. It has been weeks since he first spoke, and he will not tell me his name. What he did say is that if he voiced his name, I would be forever ruined by the sound. So, on that cheery note, I call him Shadow. If the legends are to be believed, Shadow was born on the now desolate world designated Seraph II. This dead planet orbits the same star I was born under, but much closer. Scientists from around the galaxy came to study the mystery that is my home world, and always reached the same conclusion. We should not exist. To my knowledge, no one else from Seraph has ever crewed a ship with a human. I can't claim to be the greatest of believers, and perhaps I'm alone in my revelation. Prior to meeting Allison, I would have dismissed the stories of the Burning Ones as primitive superstitions on my planet. Now that I have watched Allison and Shadow, I am positive. Life persists because the Burning Ones sacrifice. Some days I'm not entirely convinced that Allison is completely sane, but that isn't a bad thing. In fact, on my home world we say, the maddest minds burn the brightest. On the day of the attack, Allison blazed. She will tell you that she got lucky. Those of us who saw the full picture will explain that in moments where her skill was not enough, her companion bridged the gap. I think that without Shadow, Allison would be a formidable force. With him, she is unstoppable. After seeing Shadow in action, I began to watch Allison closely, considering that Shadow's purpose appears to be one of assistance and protection. It is interesting to note that he does not keep Allison from all harm. She has been grievously injured. With the deep, wrinkled scar that runs down her entire left arm, I believe it would be fair to say that she has even been maimed. Yet some days it appears that Shadow protects her from the harm so minuscule. From my perspective, it seems quite pointless. Given this fact, coupled with the raw power Shadow is capable of in certain moments, I've come to believe that he is limited by some complex set of rules. The legends of Seraph speak of burning creatures, possessing the might and fortitude to stand alone against an armada, but also beings who are very much not like us. The Burning Ones were described as ephemeral and disconnected from the physical universe, the defiers of the natural law. Perhaps Shadow sees things that we do not. Perhaps he knows which scars Allison is capable of bearing, which battles she can stand to lose. Perhaps he is working towards some greater goal on the grand scale beyond my comprehension. Perhaps Shadow and the others like him are not all that they once were. I also discussed Allison's intervention on the day the pirates boarded with the others on the crew. I found, rather unsurprisingly, not everyone can see Shadow. The captain, Garant, is incapable, just like Allison. These people explain away the inexplicable nearly instantaneously. Despite her high level of education, Allison is a great proponent of luck. While she attests to certain things, such as the phenomena of luck, are mathematically unlikely, they are also not clearly explicable within the confines of known science. Despite what she knows, Allison explained, she feels as well, and this is a deeper type of knowing. Others have seen Allison, and in some cases Shadow, at work. As we have spent more time as a crew together this has provoked much curiosity. Somehow, God knows why, the idiot Kuzaf can see Shadow. Voltaire, one of the resident scientists from Galmura, suggested that we test a hypothesis regarding why Shadow is invisible by using a spectroscope. I warned them prodding Shadow would not go well. Call it intuition. The end result was Voltaire and Kuzaf being called into an awkward meeting to explain to the captain and the chief executive officer why a very expensive, sensitive, scientific instrument was removed from its mounting in the laboratory deck and left outside the female/egg-bearing crew members' shower facility. They might be able to explain the positioning of the device. I doubt they'll have a satisfactory answer for why it burst into flames. In the weeks leading up to Allison's arrival aboard the Fractal, many crew members remarked at the strange, bright red, fragile signage which was added throughout the ship. Now that I've spent time working with Allison, I understand why. Humans possess a strange tendency towards a practice which other human watchers are calling percussive maintenance. Scientifically, it makes no sense, yet it works. For humans, that is. The lab reproductions have been inconclusive. I believe this is Voltaire's way of saying he failed without actually admitting it. After many, many hours of careful disassembly, cleaning, repair, and reassembly, the spectrograph did not function. It really should have. There remained nothing broken or disconnected. Kuzaf attempted to reproduce the miraculous effect of human percussive maintenance and lost 6 centimeters of his frontal manipulation tentacle when the device destabilized and fell on him. The appendage would grow back. His pride might take longer to mend. Allison and I were on our way to eat when she noticed that Voltaire and Kuzaf were struggling with the spectrograph and offered to help. She gently tapped on the casing next to the power switch, told the machine to play nice, flicked the switch, and immediately activated. Voltaire and Kuzaf were too distracted by Allison's success to notice that Shadow had stuck his arm inside the instrument's casing for a moment. Shadow remains rather emotionless most of the time. He is focused on his work, especially in times of danger. Still, after many days watching him in moments like this, I've noticed subtleties. His every action is not life-changing for Allison. Sometimes one might even say what he does is silly, but when Allison smiles, the ever-present stony facade that is Shadow's face softens. The fire in his eyes changes colors ever so slightly, and I feel Shadow smiles back. Those creatures capable of tearing the fabric of reality, those warriors who laid waste to 1,000 ships, those who once stood as guardians of an entire civilization, those poor souls who sacrificed themselves to the fire at the edge of the universe so that the rest of us could live. The ascended beings, who are said to have watched the end of the lost universe and bore witness to the birth of the new. These giants smile when the frail, simple, complex, wonderful, beautiful humans whom they walk alongside are happy. I feel I have witnessed something unseen by all but a select, blessed few, and I smile. I smile, for I have seen why the angels burnt. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Sevaren Serberous, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.